Do you have any other hobbies or any other interests other than Barbie, other than sewing, other than making art? I sure do. So today's video is going to be a little bit of an experiment. I've got a new camera. Well, it's not new. I bought it ages ago, but I keep putting off using it and I keep putting off using it. But today's the day. We're going to use my camera and we're going to make a video and we're going to see how it goes. So let me know what you think, if you like the picture, if you can tell a difference. If you can't tell a difference, maybe I'll just go back to using my phone. I don't know. But we're going to use this camera today. We're going to make a short video. And today we are going to do something out of the ordinary. We are going to finish up a repair that I started actually a while ago. And that is of my brother's 1970s vintage Landspeeder.
It's the new Star Wars Landspeeder.
Wow, looks like it's floating. People are coming. It's up to Luke Skywalker and his Landspeeder to get us out.
Action figures each sold separately. The Landspeeder has a snap-open space hatch, and Star Wars action figures R2-D2 and C-3PO fit right in back.
Hurry, they're fancy. Activate spring glide wheels. The Force goes with us. Yeah.
Kenner's new Star Wars Landspeeder. Action figures each sold separately.
I inherited his collection of Star Wars figures and vehicles when he passed away in 2015. And I've just now gotten around to really taking a look at what it is I have in that collection and starting to repair some things that need a little bit of repair, clean some things that need to be cleaned, and in the goal of getting them up and on display. So we're going to start with this Landspeeder and we're going to get it in good condition. Unfortunately, I've already torn it apart and I've already ordered the parts to fix it, and I didn't think about recording any of that. If you want a thorough video on how to tear apart and repair an old Landspeeder, I recommend Toy Polloi's videos. That's where I got my information from. So check him out. I'll put a link to his video in the video description below. Not that he needs my help, but it was super valuable to me to have this information. And, you know, maybe you're into other action figures and other stuff. So you might be interested in his channel too. So on that note, let's get Barbara Millicent out of the way and let's look at something by Star Wars. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've moved Barbie out of the way. And we have our bag of goodies here. This is a collection that I've had for a while. And again, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with it. And it's just been recently that I've thought, oh, you know, maybe I should work on putting things together. So bear with me, you know, really quickly as I kind of show you where I'm at in this process. So my brother and I were kids growing up in the 70s and 80s. And he was a little older than me. So he was in love with Star Wars. I was very, very young when the first Star Wars movie came out, and he was a little older and he was super into it. So he has some vintage toys. And so this is one of them. This is the carcass of the Landspeeder from A New Hope. And you can see it's in pretty good condition and it's pretty complete. I actually have all of the parts to it. The one thing I had that was broken was the gear shifter that makes the wheels kind of pop out below so that this can look like it's skimming along, hovering above the sands of Tatooine. So let me see if I can show you the broken piece. This is pretty common. So this gear shifter is supposed to come up a little bit more, and there's a little ball supposed to be at the end of it. And this is what it slots in here. It slots in there. And this is what you would use to shift it, right? And it pops the wheels up and pops the wheels down. But with this broken, again, there wasn't anything I could do to move those wheels around. And again, this is a very common thing. This is broken on a lot of them. So to eBay I went, and I found someone selling a chassis. So this is the chassis that they were selling. So they were selling this under chassis, and it had a perfect gear shifter on it. And I almost used it as is, but then I got looking at these wheels, and they really have a lot of wear to them. Can you see some of that wear? This was my brother's, and this was theirs. And I don't know if you can tell the difference, but so his are in really beautiful shape, and these just are not. They're kind of rough. So I popped the gear shifter out and I was able to place it in this chassis. So here's the original broken one. And here is our fixed one. And so it just slots in here. You can see there's a little slot down below. Maybe you can see that. There we go. There's a little slot down below that this fits in, and it kind of rides along there. So really all I've got to do now is put this back together, and that's what I brought us all together for. So I'm going to take my spare chassis and I'll put that in my bag, or I'm putting together a box of various parts. So I'll put that in my parts box. I've been fixing up some Barbie stuff too, like my travel camper, the Star Traveler, and I've got a couple of Barbie cars that I've been fixing up. So I've got a bunch of parts that I've just been kind of amassing and putting together. Another thing that our new chassis came with is it came with these springs. So this is spring loaded. There's 4 posts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's 4 places on here that 4 little contacts that the springs attach to. And so there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And so once we get this all put together, then we could put the springs on and we can get it working again. So I'm really excited about this. So I am going to get these parts out of this baggie. So it's really a very simple construction. You have the top and the bottom. There's these chrome pieces in the front. Now these chrome pieces aren't in the best of shape. Some of the chrome has worn off of them. I remember when this happened. My brother cleaned this one time and that chrome paint came off. And it's looked this way pretty much since then. And that was in the 70s sometime that happened. Maybe early 80s. And I don't know what I'm going to do about it. I don't know if I'm going to replace these. This seller that sold me these parts has a new set of these. Well, has a newer set of these, and they're in pretty good condition. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with those. So I'd be interested to hear from you. Do you think I should repaint these? Should I buy new ones? Should I just leave them as is? Right now, that's kind of my inclination, is I'm just going to leave them as is and see how it goes. But what would you do? So that one's not too bad. This one's really worse for wear. Okay, so for now, we will put this together and see how it goes. All right, so we are back and we are set up and ready to go. So here is our chassis, and you can see I've got this just kind of set together in place. So now it's time to put the springs in place. There's a little post here on the chassis, and your gear shifter sets down just in front of that. So that kind of helps align it, and then the wheels go down into their various slots and it just kind of sits there. So we are going to, here we go. So the springs hook here. And if you want a more detailed tear down and rebuild of one of these, I got this inspiration from the YouTube channel Toy Polloi. And if you're not familiar with them, if you are a Star Wars collector, you definitely want to check it out. He does all kinds of fearless repairs and fixing, and you know, my toxic trait is I think I watch a 6-minute YouTube video and that I can do it. So, you know, or 20-minute YouTube video or whatever. Okay, so there's my front springs in place. Now let's get the back springs in place. And so there's these little hooks in the back, and then it hooks here. So I just need to catch that little hook in the back and then bring it up onto that post. Very easy. I did one of these go flying earlier. Did a test fit. So now I'm being much more careful. But there we go. All right. So there is our chassis, and you can see it's when you pull down on this lever, it lifts everything up, and then the wheels kind of go back up into the body of the Landspeeder. Okay, so we're going to set this aside for right now. The next thing we need to do is sticker reattachment. So I pulled all of the stickers off when I went to clean this. They were just like in there, but they were just barely in there. It was really, really dry. And so the stickers just pulled right up. So we've got one that goes under the hood. So this is kind of the inner workings. There's the console sticker. There we go. I think that's clear, right? So that's the console sticker. So that goes here. You see there's a little bit of a crease in it, but that's all right. So that goes there. And then there are two dashboard stickers. There are those, if you want to see what those look like. All right. And those go up on the dashboard. Okay, so I've got my tweezers out, and we are going to glue these back down. I'm going to use glue stick. So this is my Scotch brand glue stick. So I'm just gonna make sure that there's a decent amount of glue on the sticker. And then we will fit it into place. All right, one sticker down. Since these stickers don't fill up this entire space, I'm just trying to kind of center them. All right, there's all of the cockpit stickers. Looking pretty good. And so next we're going to glue in our engine into the engine bay. And I'm making sure I'm putting a lot of glue on these so that it will stay down. And this fits in here pretty well. So a little extra glue under that edge. It was not centered when it was originally put in. I don't remember if my brother put this sticker in or if it was put in at the factory. I really don't remember. If you know, chime in, let me know. So I don't know if it was my brother's 11-year-old hands that got it crooked, but because it was put in crooked, it's a little curled up at the edge there. So I'm just trying to get that to relax and glue down. All right, so because that could end up being a point of weakness in the future. That looks pretty good, pretty firmly adhered. All right, so there is our engine sticker. Now we just have to reassemble it. And it's not super tricky. So there are some parts you need to worry about. So there is this part. So this is what pushes open that little latch. So you just need to kind of fit it into place, and it'll drop down in there in between. And you see it's just a little button on the outside. So you want to make sure that's put into place. Then we put our side pieces in. And so they go like this. And like this. All right, and those kind of hold down that little button. And then they go behind these little cutouts on the side. And then this is nice and firm because it's got those springs. This is nice and firm because it's got those springs holding it in place, so we can flip that upside down. The only tricky part is we want to make sure the gear shifter goes through the hole. So I'm gonna take it over this way. I feel it. I'm taking this over this way just so I can look upside down at it and see it. Okay, so now we move this forward and we just kind of line up all of those pegs. And so there are pegs in the front, pegs in the back. Sorry, there's pegs in the back, pegs in the front, and pegs in these little engine pods. And so we just want to make sure that those are all lined up, and you just kind of squeeze it together. Look for any gaps. All right, and this had never been taken apart to the best of my knowledge, so this was in pretty pristine shape as far as the body goes. I didn't have any broken pegs or anything like that. All right, so now that that's together, we can try our gear shifter and see if it works. So there's in the down position, and there's our wheels. And then when we move the gear shifter to the up position, the wheels are neatly tucked away. Nice. Hey, we did it, you guys. All right, I'm gonna put it in the down position for storage to take the tension off of the springs. And then when I undid this, I just undid these 4 screws. So there's 4 screws holding it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I have those over here. And so we're just gonna put these little screws back in. And these are kind of standard, from what I understand, just kind of standard Kenner Phillips head screws that they used a lot. So we're gonna gently, when you feel a little resistance, stop. If everything is lined up, you shouldn't feel resistance as you're screwing them in. So if you're getting a little resistance, because you can strip this plastic's really fragile and it's really gotten brittle over the years. There we go. Screw it in, get a little resistance, stop. Don't crank it down. There we go. And there we go. All right. So let's make sure everything works again. Our Landspeeder is again floating. So Luke can work on it and get under the hood and look at the engine. And of course we can park it and have it landing, sitting on solid ground, or we can have it hovering just above and speeding along. Isn't that fun? What a fun toy. I just remember us playing with this and thinking it was just the bee's knees. Well, I wasn't allowed to play with this. This was his toy, and he was very adamant about that. To be fair, I was like 6, so I probably would have ruined it. And my brother was very meticulous with his toys, as you can see, and it's in remarkable condition. She's held up over the years. I'm super grateful to have her in my collection, and she is going to go on the wall. So I will show you pictures of that as soon as we get her up there. I have a couple of ships, and we're putting them all up on the wall. A couple of vehicles, I should say, we're putting them all up on the wall. So that's it. This is probably a pretty short one. I appreciate you coming along for the ride. Mostly I wanted to try out this rig with my camera and get into the habit of using her a little bit more. and hopefully this worked out pretty well. So if you liked this, let me know down in the comments. Do you have any other collections, maybe not even Star Wars, but do you have any other collections other than Barbie or any other kind of vintage toys? What do you think of the old Star Wars toys? They're pretty cool, right? Did you like the Star Wars movies? It's okay if you didn't. They're not for everybody. So like, subscribe, share, all that kind of good stuff. Again, thank you so much to my patrons. I really appreciate your further support. I can't do this without you. Special thanks to my DeMedici patrons. That's Tara Meldrum and Michael Kegley. Thank you guys so much. That's my top tier of patrons, but you can go all the way down to like $3 a month, and that really helps me out a lot, like any little bit. And if you don't have any money and you can't support me that way, just give this a like, give this a subscribe, comment down below. That tells the algorithm that this is something you want to watch, and it will show my video to other people. So help me out if you can, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.